And welcome. You're watching the Workhorse Video Productions High School Baseball Game of the Week, and today it's Game 3 of the 2009 AAA State Baseball Championship, and we come to you from Richard Bell Field. And what an excellent day for baseball. The skies are clear, and the two best teams in the state will go at it. And not only are they going at it, they're going at it in Game 3, where today's game will be for everything. Again, you're watching the Workhorse Productions High School Baseball Game of the Week. I'm Scott Singer along with Matt Santini. And before we get started, we'll take a look at the starting lineups, and we'll take a look at the defensive alignment for the Canes. And up on the hill will be Pat Bowling as he gets the start. The former ace of this staff went through Tommy John surgery, and they will hand him the ball today in game number 3. Behind the plate is Hank Stewart. Lane Frazier is at first, Garrison Boston at second, Ben Bridges is at short, and Cole Payne rounds out the infield at third. Colton Montgomery is out in left, Donovan Tate in center, and Adam Thurman has the honors in right. Taking a look now at the Blue Devil hitters, leading things off as he did in games 1 and 2 will be Bryce Dial. Bobby Andrews hits in the 2-hole. Matt Taylor will hit third. Kyle Carter, the freshman phenom who went 3 for 3 with 3 long balls yesterday in game 1, will hit cleanup. Travis Ben, the catcher, hits 5th. Taylor Wolf hits 6th. Then comes McClendon Hill, JT Phillips, and Phil Weiss hits in the 9-hole. And Matt, you couldn't ask for a better day for baseball, and it's all on the line here for 7 innings.
Well, Scott, you say it great. I'm going to take one. We've already disagreed on something. You're calling it the game of the week. It's not the game of the week. It's a game of a lot longer than that. And, I'm really happy to see Pat Bowling get an opportunity to start this baseball game. I didn't have any inside information. In my heart of hearts, I felt that this was the guy that you want to have on this mound. Obviously talented, hasn't logged many innings, only one during the postseason. Of course, you just mentioned the Tommy John surgery, but here's a senior, here's a competitor, here's a guy that's been talented for years. If they can get him, I think it's, as Stuart Chester told him, I think this is his moment, and I think it's going to be a great day for Cartersville baseball.
Well, here he comes up on the hill right now, and a great story. A kid who entered this program last year, was the ace of the staff, looked like he would carry them through the season. Hurt his arm, had the Tommy John, has sat out until just a couple weeks ago as far as pitching goes, and finally got his opportunity to throw here in the postseason. Hasn't logged that many innings, but again, he'll get his chance today. And he heads up on the hill, and his first opponent will be Bryce Dial, and Bryce steps in. And the first pitch drops in there for a called strike, 0-1.
Scott, what else is going to be important? Once again, the third team on the field, the umpiring crew. Both sides were a little bit upset yesterday, especially in game 2. If they're equally upset, the umps are doing their job, and they've been pretty darn consistent. Let's hope for the same in game 3.
The 0-1 to Dial. Just inside, make it 1-1 here to Dial. So Bryce Dial steps in, hitting from the right side of the box. Again, he went 4 for 5 in game 2. And the 1-1. Swung on, and that ball hit deep to right, going back toward the fence. It's at the wall, and that ball is gone. A solo shot for Bryce Dial, and Columbus is on the board early.
Well, he may have traveled a number of miles overnight, but he certainly doesn't stop doing what he's been doing in the first 2 games of this series. Tremendous power. You see it right there as he gives a little neck slash as he comes across home plate. It ain't bragging if you can do it.
So Bryce Dial makes his way back to the dugout, and you take a look at it here on the replay, and that ball just floated up there, and going back was Thurman, but that ball over the fence, no chance to catch it. A swing and a miss right there to the 2-hitter Bobby Andrews.
Once again, a very steady breeze blowing out as it was in games 1 and 2. If you can get the ball up in the air, you have an opportunity to get a little bit of aid.
And the 0-1. That one outside, make it 1-1 here to Bobby Andrews. Andrews steps in, hitting from the left side of the box. And then again, Pat Bowling up on the hill. The 1-1. Swing and a miss that time. Make it 1-2. Again, Bowling back up on the hill. And the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss right there, and he strikes him out.
There's a little moxie there. Comes back after the home run. Gets the strikeout. And what's important for Pat is that he's throwing strikes. He's around the plate. Everything looking good.
And the first pitch a little bit high that time to Matt Taylor. 1-0. So Bowling heads back up on the hill. That one misses low.
We're getting way ahead of
2-0.
ourselves, but you think there's any chance Matt Taylor throws today? What are your thoughts?
Who knows? I
want you to take a side, yes or no, right now.
I think we'll see him. If they need him, he'll come in. They won't hold him back. The 2-0. That ball fouled back, make it 2-1. I think it's a situation that either team will throw who they think they need to get an out. I don't think anyone's going to hold anything back today. I think it'll be harder for Matt Taylor to come back based on the that one fouled back. 2-2. And the 2-2 count, and Matt Santini had taken his hat off, and now you can hear him putting it back on.
Oh, sorry about that. That was
the 2-2. That ball hit to the opposite field. It's down for a base hit, and Matt Taylor is aboard, giving the Blue Devils a base runner here in the top half of the first inning.
We're talking about superstitions. The hat was not on for game one. It was on for game number 2. Took it off prior to the game for the national anthem, and just in my haste to work for you, Scott, forgot to put it on.
So Kyle Carter now steps in with a runner on first and 1 out. Here we are, top half of the first inning. And the Blue Devils already got it done off a solo home run by Bryce Dial. The pitch. Swing and a miss that time, 0-1. Good looking pitch that time by Pat Bowling. And again, the key to Bowling here is just not to get frustrated, just to get out there and do what he does best, throw strikes. Throw on back to the bag at first, and the runner is safe. So Matt Taylor sitting over on first, 1 out. Here we are, top half of the first inning if you're just joining us.
Well, they said there were about 2,000 people here yesterday, Scott, at least that here today.
Runner goes, they're going to throw on back to second. And he's safe. Take a look at it here on the replay and see if we can see what happened. Looked like the ball was there in time.
A little bit of a short throw. Ben scooped it out, but on the slide,
Taylor came out.
Yeah, Taylor knocked the ball out of Ben's glove on the way by. Hard to cover it up on a short hop like that.
If he had kept the ball, it would have easily been an out. And the 0-1. That one fouled back, make it 0-2 to Kyle Carter. So Columbus continues to put the pressure here in the first inning. We'll see what progresses here as Kyle Carter makes his way back in the box. Pat Bowling up on the hill. Lefty checks his runner at second. And the 0-2. That one high and away, make it 1-2. Pat Bowling back up on the hill. And gets the sign from Hank Stewart, checks the runner at second. And the 1-2. That ball popped up in foul territory. They're all running for it. And Cole Payne makes the easy out.
Boy, I tell you, it's a no man's land. Cole came a long way for that. Number one, it's good to see him moving like that after the shot on the knee he took last night. Number two, made sure that even with all that noise, he was calling for Hank to get out of the way. It's the third baseman's ball if he can get there. Big out for number two. Got a really quality hitter on that pop out.
So Pat Bowling now makes his way back to the box. Or back up on the mound, rather, and making his way to the box is Travis Ben. Ben hitting from the right side of the box with 2 down. Here we are, top half of the first inning. Bowling back up on the hill, checks the runner at second. Comes back around, throws it into center field, and the Hurricanes will hold him up right there as the runner advances down the line to third. That will go E1 on the throw. And the Canes commit their first error of the game. So Travis Ben now steps in. The stretch and the pitch. That one just a bit high, 1-0.
Ooh. Hitters umpire this game, judging by the early strike zone. Bowling choosing to work out of the windup as opposed to the stretch with 2 outs and the runner on third.
The pitch. Swing and a miss that time, make it 1-1. I think you're going to see some runs today here in Game 3, and I think the key is just get as many outs as possible defensively. The count even at 1 here to Travis Ben, and the runner comes home. They steal home, and tough play at the plate. Hank Stewart not ready for the throw and doesn't come up for it. And a tough play at the plate. Throw also a little bit high.
Well, a well-timed steal. You'll see it right here. As Bowling goes into the wind, a long windup, runner squared, and Bowling did exactly what you're supposed to do, is throw the ball at the batter to get them to get out of the way, but Ben stood in there, and it was a ball that Hank could not handle.
So the stretch and the pitch, that one high. Make it 3-1 here to Travis Ben. So a 2-0 advantage here for Columbus in the top half of the first inning. And the 3-1. Swing and a miss that time, and the count runs full.
Boy, they literally stole a run there.
Take a look at it here, and again, I guess the throw a little bit high, and the batter kind of interfering a little bit there with the, I guess it's not interference, he's standing in the batter's box, but the throw a little bit high. So that one fouled back to the stop, still full.
If there's a suicide squeeze play on, you're taught as the pitcher, throw the ball at the batter. Make them get out of the way. That ball was so far to the inside, he was able to duck it without moving back away from the plate, and Hank unable to reach across. Like I said, give Ben a lot of credit for not bailing out on a ball that was zipping right at him. I'm not so sure they'd have had Taylor had that. He just got a great jump.
Payoff pitch, swing and a miss, and it goes back into the glove of Hank Stewart, and that'll do it, but not before Columbus gets it done. Off 2 hits, they score 2, and we move to the bottom half of the first inning. It's Columbus 2, Cartersville nothing. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, folks. Chuck Clancy here for Chuck Clancy Chrysler Dodge Jeep. You know, folks, during these economic times, we were a little scared, but guess what? Chrysler chose us to be the premier dealer for North Georgia. That's right, Chrysler chose us. Folks, with rebates as high as $11,000 and at factory invoices 0%, it's the best time to buy an automobile. You need to come on down here at Chuck Clancy Chrysler Dodge Jeep in Cartersville. We're letting them go, folks, and all we need to prove it is you.
And welcome back to Richard Belfield as we move to the bottom half of the first inning and we take a look at the starting lineups up on the hill. Getting his second start in this series is Taylor Wolf. Behind the plate is Travis Ben, Bryce Dial at first, Bobby Andrews at second, McClendon Hill at short, and JT Phillips at third. Out in left field is Kyle Carter, Matt Taylor is in center, and Drew Brooks rounds out the lineup defensively. Taking a look now at the Hurricane hitters, leading things off will be Donovan Tate, followed by Garrison Boston, Ben Bridges, and Hank Stewart. Then comes Cole Payne, Colton Montgomery, Lane Frazier, Adam Thurman, and Ben Venners. DHs for Pat Bowling. And making his way to the box now is Donovan Tate. Tate will step in to face Taylor Wolf. Taylor Wolf threw 72 pitches yesterday and was yanked. First pitch swung on, and that ball fouled away. 0-1.
Yeah, Scott, we'll see how long he can go. Awful lot of intestinal fortitude to take the mound again after yesterday. Just a short period of recovery.
The 0-1, that one in there for a called strike. 0-2 to Donovan Tate. So Donovan steps back in. And the count 0-2. The pitch way inside and hit Donovan Tate, so he is aboard. So that brings Garrison Boston to the plate with a runner aboard and nobody out. Here we are in the bottom half of the first inning.
Well, they've worked it Donovan inside all series long. And actually, it's not the first time Donovan's been hit. He was hit in game number 1 as well.
Now batting for the game, second baseman, number 1, Garrison Boston.
Remember in game 1, he was hit by a pitch to lead off the Cartersville offense and then was picked off with 2 outs on an attempted steal where got hung up between first and second, took off before the first movement, and Matt Taylor able to step off the rubber and run him down.
So making his way in now is Garrison Boston, and we'll keep our eye on what goes on at first. That one outside, and Donovan kind of took a little jump and then came back to the bag at first base. 1-0 here to Garrison Boston.
Well, there's no denying the talent of Taylor Wolf, or really anybody on this Columbus team for that matter.
Wolf back up on the hill to pitch. That one in there for a called strike. 1-1 to Garrison Boston. Boston steps back in the box. The count even at 1 ball, 1 strike. And Wolf delivers. That one inside. 2-1 here to Garrison Boston.
And Scott, you know, you want to be aggressive and go after good pitches early in the count, but at the same time, you're still dealing with a guy that threw 72 pitches yesterday, and perhaps you can try to make him work, wear him down a little bit, and see who they've got after him.
The pitch. Swung on, and that ball hitting the gap, and it is down for a base hit, and Donovan Tate will round second and head for third, and a great play by Garrison Boston, who slides into second. A very aggressive base running move by Boston, and the Hurricanes now have 2 in scoring position for Ben Bridges.
Well, what a great effort by McClendon Hill to try to knock that ball down. No hesitation. Donovan had the ball in front of him, made no slowdown around second. Of course, we know about his speed. Garrison, no hesitation from right out of the box. That's just a hustle double, nothing else that you'd expect out of him.
Shortstop, number 5.
So the Hurricanes with 2 in scoring position, and now that brings Ben Bridges to the plate. And the pitch by Wolf. That one misses inside, 1-0.
Place a bet with you. I bet you anything Donovan's not going to try to steal home to retaliate.
I don't think that. Not with nobody out.
Boy, that was quite honestly. I mean, it's supposed to surprise you, and that shocked the heck out of me.
In the 1-0. That one low. Make it 2-0 here to Ben Bridges. A year ago, I believe Stevens County jumped out first. I could look it up. It's all right here in my book. And again, Wolf back up on the hill, the 2-0. That one inside. Make it 3-0 now to Ben Bridges. No, they didn't. That was pretty much a beating from the beginning last year. I do remember an early home run. That one high, and he walks them on 4 consecutive pitches. So the bases are now loaded with nobody out for Hank Stewart.
Well, Scott, we don't know how the rest of this game's going to go, but, you know, coming into this series, you know, you anticipated low-scoring baseball games. I think today, if you're not expecting something that looks like a church league softball game, I mean, I think that's what I come to this game looking at.
Yeah,
I
think when in a war of attrition with pitching today, and you just don't know when one will get hot, and that'll be the difference. Whoever finds the groove on the hill, I think, will be the difference in today's game.
I've said this on the radio side all series. Hank has hit the ball so hard, but he's not been rewarded a lot. How about we see what happens right here with the bases loaded and nobody out?
Well, the 1-0 is inside, make it 2-0, and that is 6 consecutive misses there by Taylor Wolf. And now Hank steps back in, 2-0, and nowhere to put him here for Taylor Wolf. Wolf back up on the hill. Again, the wind blowing out here at Richard Bell Field, bottom of the first inning. The 2-0, way outside, 3-0. And again, Taylor Wolf threw 72 pitches yesterday. He has already thrown 13 here today. The pitch, that one, in there for a called strike, 3-1. Just nicked that inside corner right there. And again, Hank Stewart's probably still taking right now. The pitch swung on, and that ball popped up in the infield. And Hank Stewart chased ball 4 right there. That would have been an RBI walk for Hank.
That was infield fly rule in effect on that as well. So even had that ball come down and dropped, he was still going to be out. Third baseman J.T. Phillips came up with that play, fighting that high afternoon sun that, Scott, as this afternoon goes on, may become an issue, especially for the guys on the left side of the diamond.
So Cole Payne now steps in with 1 out and the bases loaded, and an opportunity here for the Hurricanes to get something going. And the pitch. That one outside, a 1-0. Again, if I am a Cartersville hitter, if I've got pitches to play with, I'm going to make Taylor Wolf throw me a strike. Patience at the plate is a virtue here in this game. I can tell you that right now. The 1-0. Way upstairs, 2-0. He has thrown 1 strike in the last 10 pitches. The 2-0. Swung on, and that ball lifted toward left. It's going back to the fence, and that ball at the wall, it's gone. A grand slam for Cole Payne, and the Hurricanes have grabbed a 4-2 advantage. He just teed off on it, sent it deep over the left field fence, and the Hurricanes are in business.
Scott,
what a shot.
Yeah, fastball up and in. Wind ate it, but it still counts. Wind's blowing hard for both teams. You saw Dial get one up in the first inning. Cole Payne replies, and here you see it. Fastball up in. Payne gets the barrel of the bat on. And as Montgomery Gentry says, he's gone, and so is Mr. Wolf. He's going to get an early exit here. And Drew Brooks is going to come to the mound, Scott. A very early hook.
And we'll take a quick break as they make the pitching change. You're watching the Workhorse Productions High School Baseball Game of the Week. We'll be right back after this.
Weather is so unpredictable. Focus on what's important, your family's safety. Everyone's okay. What do we do now? Call your hometown agent. They'll refer you to Wynn Pontiac Buick GMC Auto Body Repair Center. We've been taking care of families just like you since 1975, and we'll take care of all the details now.
Come see us. We'll handle everything.
And welcome back. The new pitcher for Columbus is Drew Brooks. We saw him yesterday as well, and he will now come in, but the Hurricanes do it with a 2-run lead. Here we are, bottom half of the first inning, only 1 out, and the Hurricanes bring Colton Montgomery to the plate. Lane Frazier will make his way to the on-deck circle, and the Canes will at least bat 7 deep here in the first inning.
Well, Scott, Brooks faced 3 batters, I believe, last in game number 2, gave up 3 hits, and then was replaced and got of the normal arms. I'm assuming he's just simply the freshest one they've got.
Well, here he comes right now, and we'll see. And that one misses away 1-0. And again, this is a war of attrition on the hill, and we'll see if it plays out that way throughout the day. That ball swung on, hit deep to left. It's in there for a base hit, and Colton Montgomery is aboard. So that brings Lane Frazier to the plate.
Doesn't matter to me who's hitting on either side of the field. Doesn't matter how the wind's blowing. You get balls up in the strike zone, and they're going to get hit pretty hard. And once again, there's another elevated fastball.
So Lane Frazier now steps in with a runner aboard and 1 out. Here we are, bottom of the first. That ball gets right to Frazier. I guess it hit him, and now you got runners aboard on first and second.
Second hit batter of the inning.
And there you take a look at Drew Startup, a former Hurricane player, now on the coaching staff. Giving a little pat on the back to Lane Frazier as Adam Thurman now steps in. And
was there some discussion that Frazier stuck his leg out and got hit? Head coach Bobby Howard is certainly thinking so. That's the I should have counted for. I think there were 5 hit in the 2 games yesterday on just on the Cartersville side, and there's already been 2 today. Cartersville's nipped about 3 or 4 themselves.
Well, I've heard a lot of talk, and people have said things. We'll take a look at it here on the replay. I mean, it's right at him.
It's a curveball.
Yeah.
And, you're taught not to bail out. I mean, the one thing you wonder if you're throwing a good curveball is for the guy to turn and bail out and have that thing break over the plate.
That one misses inside. A 1-0 here to Adam Thurman. Almost hit Thurman right
there.
And
Adam kind of turned, kind of like, doggone it, I couldn't get that hip out of the way.
And the 1-1. The 1-0. And the pitch. That one low. Make it 2-0. So Drew Brooks, the right-hander, gives up a hit. Then hits Lane Frazier and now faces the 8-hitter Adam Thurman. Thurman steps in. The 2-0. Way inside. Make it 3-0 here to Adam Thurman. Thurman steps back in.
I'm scared to death. This is only the first inning. Both sides are at a fever pitch already.
3-1 the count, and this is the kind of day where it's kind of hot out here. Tempers will flare and frustrations will go on both sides throughout. The fans are, good thing they're divided here by a press box.
Well, it's a 30-minute inning at this point if it stays at this pace.
3-1 is hit down the line at third. They fire over to second. Can't get the ball out of the glove that time, and it falls out, and that is going to be.
They're going to say that he's safe, and now there's a rundown.
Right. He came off the bag, and that was a mistake made in the field by Lane Frazier. He thought he was out and left the bag, and then Columbus got an easy out.
Well, we'll see on the instant replay here, Scott. Nice play by Phillips to range to third, and to be honest with you.
It just comes right off the bag.
Well, the umpire's not saying that he was off the bag. He's saying that he didn't catch the ball and it wasn't on the transfer. If it's on the transfer, there's no problem.
Right.
He's out there and he sees it evidently wasn't in the glove.
We made the right call, but then Frazier made the mistake by not staying with the play.
It appeared from the camera angle that it was on the transfer, but once again, he's out there and he's the one that makes that call. Nonetheless, I mean, I know everybody's upset, but that's typically what was going to happen on this play anyway.
Right.
So 2 outs, first and third. Cartersville looking for more.
So runners in the corners, and they fire back to the bank. So I guess you'd score that as.
You really can't score that as a fielder's choice because the out wasn't made as a force. He was safe at second.
I guess
it'd have to be an
error on that ball fouled away. 0-1. I guess it's error.
I guess an E4.
Yeah, E4 with a 4-3 putout, right?
Yeah, of Frazier. And this is the first inning, and things usually don't get crazy till later in a game, Scott. Oh, by the way, Ben Venners is up, who's been white hot these playoffs.
That one misses outside. And again, Cartersville looking for some insurance here. And again, any run in this game on either side just helps out with your cause today. They throw him back to the bag at first. The runner safe, 1-1. Cartersville has made 2 big mistakes in this at bat here with you had Hank Stewart chasing a high fastball that would have been ball 4 and an RBI for him. Would have given the Canes another run. And then you also have the base running error by Lane Frazier, and those are the 2 outs. This inning you might not have any outs right now.
Well, on a heads-up play by Columbus after seeing the safe signal to come down and chase and get the out without allowing Colton to score from third.
The 1-1, away outside. Make it 2-1. So Ben Venners now steps back in, hitting from the left side of the box.
And once again, Cartersville doesn't do an awful lot of running, but I sure do like having Thurman staying at first instead of trying to advance. It just leaves that hole on the right-hand side that much larger for Ben.
Yeah, there's a big gap there, and then there's a big gap. You got the center fielder playing a little to the left as well. But Matt Taylor does have some wheels out there in center field. That ball hit right back up the middle. It's down for a base hit. A run will come home, and the Hurricanes will hold up with runners on first and second, and the top of the order comes back to the plate.
Well, once again, starting to sound like a broken record already. Great job hitting by Ben Venners. Knows the situation, doesn't try to do too much with it, sends it right back up the middle. Brooks really had a very little shot that was a well-hit ball.
Number 20, Donovan Tate.
So Donovan Tate now steps in with runners aboard on first and second. Canes leading at 5-2 here in the bottom half of the first inning. The pitch way inside to Donovan Tate, 1-0. And again, the key for the Cartersville hitters today is patience, patience, and more patience, because you need to force Columbus to throw you strikes. Don't do anything stupid. The 1-0. Swung on, and that ball fouled back, and Donovan got a pitch he liked right there. And if he had connected with that one, that was what he was looking for.
You know, I always liked getting up there and thinking fastball on the first pitch, and if it's there and it's where you want it, go ahead and rip at it. But after that, I'm taking till I get a strike. See as many pitches as you can in the at-bat and make the pitcher work a little.
The pitch to Tate. In there, called strike. 1-2 now to Donovan Tate. Again, the wind blowing out. So Donovan steps back in. And the 1-2. That one in there for called strike 3. Gets them looking, and that'll do it. And the Hurricanes go down on strikes, but not before they get it done off 4 hits. They score 5 and leave 2. We move to the top half of the second inning. It's Cartersville 5, Columbus 2. We'll be right back after this.
Fruit Jar Cafe's nostalgic atmosphere, country home meals will take you back to a simpler time. Relax while we serve you freshly cooked vegetables. Fried catfish, juicy chicken breast, or the best chicken fried steak you've ever tasted. We'll even throw in an all-you-can-eat bean bar, as well as fresh cornbread muffins with every platter. The Fruit Jar Cafe is located on Highway 20 off I-75 at exit 290. Come join us Tuesday through Saturday for lunch and dinner or for Sunday brunch. We hope we'll see you soon.
And welcome back to Richard Bell Field. You're watching the Workhorse Productions High School Baseball Game of the Week as we now move to the top half of the second inning. 6, 7, and 8 will come to the plate as Taylor Wolf, McClendon Hill, and J.T. Phillips will make their way to the box here for Columbus. And still up on the hill for the Canes is Pat Bowling. The stretch and the pitch. That one low and away, 1-0.
Scott, we talked a little bit before we went on the air, the importance of staying within yourself and throwing strikes, and Pat was able to do that in inning number 1.
That one in there for a called strike, 1-1.
You know, it's important to know what he's doing. You know, there's a long layoff in the bottom half of that first inning.
That one misses low, make it 2-1 to Taylor Wolf. Wolf trying to help his own cause right here. And the pitch came up high. Did he swing? Did not. 3-1.
Not really his cause anymore.
Yeah.
That's
true.
Too.
I've done the second time I've done that. Yeah. I did the same. I made
Sorry
the same
about that.
mistake yesterday.
Couldn't resist.
So Pat Bowling up on the hill. 3-1 the count as Wolf steps in. And the pitch. That one outside. Oh, in there. Hits that outside corner. And that may have been what we call in the business as the makeup call. I think he did come around the last time, and so that's going to even it up. So the payoff pitch, fouled it back, still 3-2. So Taylor Wolf now steps in, and the payoff pitch, fouled it back again. Nobody out here, top half of the second inning. Hurricanes trying to dodge the offensive surge here from Columbus in the top of the second.
Well,
Time called.
It's easy just to forget about the intensity. I mean, it was intense yesterday, but nothing quite like this one. Very similar to the state championship football games and all these other state championship baseball games.
Fouled back again. So the wind just kind of lightly blowing out here at Richard Bell Field today. And the 3-2. A little bit low, and he walks him. So Taylor Wolf is aboard. And again, Bobby Howard is so good at moving his players around. We saw a manufactured run back in the first inning. And, I mean, really, off a single, you got a stolen base, and then an error moves him to third, and then you steal home. I haven't seen the squeeze in a while, and they got it. McClendon Hill now steps. I think it might have been a Columbus team last time I saw a squeeze in high school baseball. The pitch. That one outside. 1-0.
Well, we didn't even talk about the fact that you really got to trust your teammate that he got that sign because he was going head down, charging to the plate.
The 1-0. That one outside. Make it 2-0.
Not missing by much, but missing indeed.
So the count 2-0. He checks his runner at first, and Bowling delivers again away, 3-0. So Bowling back up on the hill. Checks the runner at first. The 3-0. A little bit low, and he walks him on 4 consecutive pitches. So back-to-back walks, and Pat Bowling, who will be on a short hook. All pitchers will be on a short hook today for the Canes. With back-to-back mistakes, doesn't get an opportunity. We do have some action in the Hurricane bullpen.
Yeah, Scott, they've been down there all game, as a matter of fact. A little bit of a change. Usually they'll send somebody down there, but obviously the importance of this game, they're keeping folks down there and at the ready.
Check the runner at second, and again they wheel around, throw back to the bag at second where the runner is safe.
I think right there you're looking to see if you can tip him off to see if Phillips is going to be bunting to advance the runners.
So JT Phillips, the 8-hitter, steps back in. And the pitch. That one in there for a called strike, 0-1. Good looking pitch that time by Pat Bowling. And again, I think a lot of what you'll see today out of Pat Bowling will be just his mental state and how he can control this situation, and if he can shrug off mistakes and just throw the strikes that he can throw. The 0-1. Fouled down the first baseline, make it 0-2.
On deck, Scott, is Phil Wise. Designated hitter, was actually in the original starting lineup in game 1 yesterday and never saw any action. Said there was some kind of injury. I don't know if he was ill.
I think he got ill, and from what I understand, he got sick, was taken to an RV to hang out for a while, and then I think he went to the hospital last night, so I don't know if it was the flu or something that came, but he did not play yesterday. It was a scratch right in the first inning. The 0-2. High and away, make it 1-2 to JT Phillips. So JT Phillips now steps back in. And the count 1-2. Pitch. Way outside, he misses on the curveball that time, evens the count at 2.
Now I don't know if you heard Pat kind of moan after that pitch. It came out of his hand funny. It just kind of slipped out.
So Pat Bowling heads back up on the hill, and again, JT Phillips steps back in the box. And the pitch. That ball fouled away, still 2-2. Again, nobody out here in the top half of the second inning. I feel like we're in the bottom half of the 7th right here. The tension's still just so tight around the ballpark. I think no one knows what to expect. Bowling back up on the hill, checks the runner at second. And he comes off the hill. The Columbus fans wanted a balk. I didn't see him move around, did you? Or maybe you did.
I guess shrugging doesn't work, no.
Yeah. I think fans want to balk anytime you your pitcher stops. I mean, again, he's got to make forward motion to the plate and then stop. He can't just stand up there and come back off the hill. That's not a balk. The 2-2. High and away, and now the count's run full. Big at bat right here for JT Phillips with nobody out here in the bottom half of the second inning. Cartersville looking for their first out of the inning. And Bowling back up on the hill, and Phillips steps back in. And the payoff pitch. Just outside, and he walks the bases loaded.
And out comes the coach.
So Coach Chester's going to come out and have a word with his starter. So we'll see what happens now. See if he draws the hook.
Scott, you know, I'm thinking you give them another batter. It's the bottom of the order, and it's not like they've been consecutive walks. Give credit to the Columbus batters. They have really made Bowling work. But he's been around the plate. When he's been missing, he's not missing by much, maybe trying to nibble a little too much. And I think he's just going to tell him, let's set the infield. I would even play him back here at double play depth to try to get it. If you can get 2 outs and give up the run at this point, I think that's the wiser of the 2 plays. Bring him in on the corners, perhaps. Making sure he's working out of the stretch, which he's not doing. And I think that's where he's starting with him right now, is correcting him as Bowling was getting ready to come out of the wind.
So Phil Weiss now steps in for his first at bat in this series. And again, Bowling up on the hill, and the pitch. That one in there for a called strike. 0-1. Good looking pitch that time by Pat Bowling.
Yeah, Wise taken all the way after the 3 consecutive walks.
Wise steps back in. We count 0-1. And the pitch. High and away. 1-1. So Pat Bowling heads back up on the hill.
Probably the first time he at least noticeably tried to overthrow.
We got pitcher's mound today. It's going to be one of the loneliest places in North Georgia. And again, the pitch. Swung on and fouled away. It's 1-2.
Yeah, I think today you're going to feel like you're an ant under a magnifying glass on a sunny day.
I mean, it is just, I cannot imagine what these players are going through. You're going to be looking at several players on both sides today. They're going to be put in situations that they may not have been put in before, and in front of a stage of thousands of people, and how they handle that is going to make the difference. And the 1-2. Swing and a miss, and he goes down on strikes. And a big, big out there for the Hurricane defense as they get the 9-hitter Phil Weiss in the DH spot. And now Bryce Dial makes his way to the plate.
Number 17, Bryce Dial.
So Bryce Dial now steps in, and I think Bryce Dial is one of those guys that they're different types of players. They're players that, the madder they get, the more upset they get, and the more emotional they get, they fall off what they're doing and they can't focus on what they're doing. I think he's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that the madder he gets and the more emotional he gets in the game, the better hitter he is. And we saw that with the game 2 4-for-5 appearance. Called strike right there, 0-1.
Yeah, I agree with you, Scott. Not afraid of the attention, not afraid of stepping outside of himself a little bit. Actually looks a little bit like Jeff Francoeur as he gets in there gritting his teeth and working his hands on the bat. Strong-looking right-handed hitter.
Count 0-1, and time is called. So now he digs back in. Bowling gets the sign, the pitch. Swung on, and that ball popped up in the infield. Boston is calling for it and makes the out.
Well, once again, Scott, have you gone all season and not seen the infield fly rule? We've seen it twice already this game.
And now you bring Bobby Andrews to the plate. So Bobby Andrews steps in with the bases loaded.
Andrews, one of 2 strikeout victims. That was back in the first.
Huge at bat right here with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Much more manageable inning here for Pat Bowling, and now still got to make it happen. Sometimes the third out can be the hardest.
Yeah, every guy, like I said, both up and down. Can't make a mistake to anybody in either one of these lineups.
First pitch, outside, 1-0. So Bobby Andrews steps back in. So 1-0 the count here to Bobby Andrews. And the pitch. That one in there for a called strike, 1-1,
Well,
evens the count.
That's really big. You didn't want to fall down 0-2 or 2-0 with the bases loaded like that. They need to really be forced to come back with something really meaty.
So the count even at 1 ball, 1 strike. And Bowling delivers. A swing and a miss right there. Make it 1-2 now to Bobby Andrews. And now Pat Bowling has some pitches to play with.
Well, and Scott, you say that, but I don't think that the one thing that you want to do is waste a pitch here. I think you go straight after him. We saw earlier in the inning where he had a 2-0 pitch, and had an 0-2 pitch and then wasted one, and then he saw that batter eventually walk. So I think you're coming straight at him.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss, and he goes down on strikes, and Pat Bowling pitches his way out of the jam and takes a huge chunk of momentum with him as the Hurricanes face a loaded base path with no outs, and he comes back to retire the side in order, and that will do it as they go to the bottom half of the second. Cartersville 5, Columbus 2. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, folks. Chuck Clancy here for Chuck Clancy Chrysler Dodge Jeep. You know, folks, during these economic times, we were a little scared. But guess what? Chrysler chose us to be the premier dealer for North Georgia. That's right. Chrysler chose us. Folks, with rebates as high as $11,000 and at factory invoices 0%, it's the best time to buy an automobile. You need to come on down here at Chuck Clancy Chrysler Dodge Jeep in Cartersville. We're letting them go, folks, and all we need to prove it is you.
We go to the bottom half of inning number 2. Cartersville leads 5-2, game 3 of the AAA Baseball State Championships. Has a good look at just a few of the Columbus fans that are in attendance. And they brought quite a crowd yesterday. They brought them all back today. And Garrison Boston will lead off, second baseman, batting second in the lineup. Doubled his first time up and eventually scored.
And again, a big inning here. The Canes grabbed a huge chunk of momentum in the top half of the inning, and now that ball lifted into left, and just like that, Garrison Boston is aboard. He will hold up at first with a leadoff single, and the Hurricanes have a base runner now for Ben Bridges.
Got a breaking ball up. Garrison ripped it right at J.T. Phillips. Above his head, just too hot to handle. Once again, Scott, this time of day that sun is really bearing down on the left side of the infield. You can see that Phillips is McClendon Hill wearing sunglasses. J.T. Phillips opting not to at this point. And that'll bring up Ben Bridges as the throw to first almost got away.
So Garrison Boston safe at first, and again, Ben Bridges now steps in with nobody else. So Bridges now steps back in. And the pitch. That one in there for a called strike. Good looking pitch that time by Drew Brooks.
It really came in, after the 4-run start that Cartersville had, only gave up 1 run in the remainder of that inning.
The 0-1 swung on, and that ball hit in the infield. A little roller, and they'll field it, fire on to first in time. Great play by the third baseman, J.T. Phillips. It goes 5-3, but it sacrifices the runner over to second, and now the Canes have one in scoring position for Hank Stewart.
Well, a little movement along baseball. Hank, as you mentioned, back in the first inning, came up with the bases loaded, had a 3-1 count, chased something he probably shouldn't have, and ended up flying out to the third baseman, Phillips. Chance to atone here, perhaps.
So Hank Stewart now steps in to hit from the right side of the box with 1 out and a runner in scoring position here for the purple and gold. Bottom half of the second, that one misses away to Stewart, 1-0. Cole Payne, the hero of the first inning, with a grand slam. Put the Canes up. Now Stewart steps in. Infield moving around the pitch. That one outside. 2-0 here to Hank Stewart.
Scott, you remember a team in Cartersville that has run less than this team has? I mean, it's not like Cartersville's known for their
running,
for their aggressive base stealing and everything, but I mean, just a handful of steals throughout these playoffs.
The 2-0. That one in there for a called strike. 2-2. 2-1.
Looked like Brooks dropped the arm angle a little bit that time and crossfired and got by outside corner. Hank unable to pull the trigger.
The 2-1 pitch swung on, and that ball popped up in the infield. Second time he's popped up here today, and they'll call him off in a diving catch by Matt Taylor for the second out of the inning. Well, the reason I think for this, and this is actually one of the negatives of success. Cartersville plays in a region that they have dominated. I mean, this senior class will graduate with never losing a region game. And when that happens, and I'll be honest with you, these region games, very few have been close. It's normally 10-run rule games, and
right.
you don't get an opportunity to run and steal and work on the small ball effects because you're hitting so many home runs. That ball lifted into left. It's going back, and it'll stay in the park, right into the hands of Kyle Carter, and that'll do it. The Hurricanes get it done off a hit. They leave one, and we move to the top of the third. It's 5-2.
Weather is so unpredictable. Focus on what's important, your family's safety. Everyone's okay. What do we do now? Call your hometown agent. They'll refer you to Wynn Pontiac Buick GMC Auto Body Repair Center. We've been taking care of families just like you since 1975, and we'll take care of all the details now.
Come see us. We'll handle everything.
And welcome back. You're watching the Workhorse Productions High School Baseball Game of the Week. 3, 4, and 5 will come to the plate here for Columbus. Matt Taylor, Kyle Carter, and Travis Ben will make their way to the box here in the top half of the third. And we have a new pitcher here as Adam Thurman will come in to throw for the Canes. Thurman worked an inning or so yesterday in the mess that was our scorebook.
Don't even try.
Yeah, I'm not going to try to figure out what the line was there. That ball popped up to short, and Ben Bridges gets right underneath it. So Coach Chester goes with the second lefty of the day.
Well, and keep in mind that Bowling could still re-enter this game as the pitcher if they needed him to. But I think out of Pat, you got exactly what you wanted. Is you wanted to get a couple of solid innings, throwing strikes, good work. Of course, he pitched himself into trouble and pitched himself out of trouble.
That one misses away, 1-0. Again, Adam Thurman has had tremendous experience on the hill and has had experience against Columbus. The 1-0. 1-1. Adam Thurman took the loss against him in Game 2 last year down there at Bobby Jordan Field. And the 1-1. Outside, make it 2-1 here to Kyle Carter. And again, this is the best way to see Kyle Carter. Nobody on the base path.
Yeah.
And the 2-1 pitch. In there for a called strike as he hits the outside corner, and it evens the count at 2. And the umpire now comes to the dugout of Columbus and warns them, do not argue balls and strikes. And Coach Howard is now going to come down. And Coach Howard is saying, if you have something to say to the coaching staff, say it to me.
And I'm going to tell you this right now. You see this an awful lot. You mentioned earlier, it's a hot day, okay? If you don't think, and I hate to always bring it with this perspective, but I've worked games like this before, certainly not of this magnitude, but when you're out there and you're working a game like this, you've got your adrenaline going too, just like an athlete. You're the third team on that field, and you start getting hot, you start getting into the game an awful lot, you're going to make snap decisions. Everybody on both sides needs to be real careful with how they're treating that guy right now.
Well, the count even at 2. And the 2-2 pitch. Did he come around? He did not. Count goes full. I was always taught growing up that if you had an argument, the coach would voice it. Full count. That ball swung on and hit the short, and it's just over the glove of Garrison Boston, and a single for Kyle Carter. So Kyle is aboard, and that brings Travis Ben to the plate.
Ball had a lot of top spin on it. Once again, product of a really solid hitter. Boston unable to range over there and get it.
Right. But the point I was making is you make your disagreement, you make it notable, and then you move on, because if you get into it with him, he's not going to change the call at that point. And if you make him too mad, you're going to end up not getting the benefit of the doubt on some other calls. The pitch.
And that's
that
just
one in there for a called strike.
That's just human nature.
Right.
But I think what Coach Howard took exception to was he turned and yelled at the dugout, and I think Coach Howard was saying, hey, if there's a problem with the team, address me. Right. You don't want my team coming to you. I'm the representative here.
That ball swung on and hit deep to center. It's going back toward the fence, but Donovan Tate is right there along the track and sucks that one in. And a huge out. Second out of the inning, and That brings Taylor Wolf to the plate.
Well, that was a long, noisy, scary one right there by Travis Ben. Once again, this lineup is replete with batters that just have the ball jump off their bat.
Unlike the series a year ago when you got to Game 3, Stevens County had 2-3 guys that could do some damage. You've got 9 right here. The pitch, that one high, 1-0.
There are no pitch around guys.
Exactly. I mean, it's and we've seen every one of them do something here today and throughout this series. So Taylor Wolf steps back in. The pitch. That ball swung on, hit down the line at first. It's in for a base hit, and you got runners aboard on first and second now for McClendon Hill.
Interesting. I know that was a hard hit ball, but for Carter to not advance to third on a ball that was hit that far into right field, you know, there was some discussion about his leg injury, and that, I guess that's some indication of it right there.
He is not moving at the pace that you would think or want him to move at if you were in the Columbus faithful. The pitch. That one in there for a called strike, 0-1. So McClendon Hill steps back in the box. And the pitch. That one just misses outside, 1-1.
And oh, by the way, he represents the tying run.
Yeah. Oh, you can cut the tension with a knife here at Richard Bell Field. I mean, I think fans are just clenched in their seats right now, trying not to
I know
mess up the aura.
I know at least one is.
The count here, even at 1.
And, you know, Scott, I think it's worth noting that, you know, in the game of baseball, you know, on a nationwide scale, when you look at some of the things that are going on in the professional game, it gets a lot of bad pump, or they say baseball's on the way down. I think both of these teams are really great tribute of what's good about baseball, and they can do what they want to with the business of baseball. The game of baseball can't be touched.
The 1-1. Swung on, and that ball hit in the infield. Coming on to make the play is Thurman. Fires on to first in time. He gets it, and that'll do it. And the Hurricanes hold tough here in the top of the third. That one goes 1-3. The Devils get it done off 2 hits. They leave 2. We move to the bottom half of the third. It's Cartersville 5, Columbus 2. We'll be right back after this.
Fruit Jar Cafe's nostalgic atmosphere, country home meals will take you back to a simpler time. Relax while we serve you freshly cooked vegetables. Fried catfish, juicy chicken breast, or the best chicken fried steak you've ever tasted. We'll even throw in an all-you-can-eat bean bar, as well as fresh cornbread muffins with every platter. The Fruit Jar Cafe is located on Highway 20 off I-75 at exit 290. Come join us Tuesday through Saturday for lunch and dinner or for Sunday brunch. We hope we'll see you soon.
And welcome back to Richard Bell Field as we move to the bottom half of the third inning. It'll be 6, 7, and 8 here for the Canes. The pitch swung on and fouled down as Colton Montgomery, Lane Frazier, and Adam Thurman come to the plate here. So time called here as Montgomery steps out of the box. Montgomery just slams one down the third base line. It's in for a base hit, and the Hurricanes have a base runner. So a nice job of hitting right there for Colton Montgomery, and that brings Lane Frazier to the plate. So Montgomery takes his place on first, and Lane Frazier now steps back in.
First baseman, number 11, Lane Frazier.
Frazier runs around to bunt, lays it down, and they will throw on to first in time, but it moves the runner over to second, and the Hurricanes now have one in scoring position here for Adam Thurman. So Lane Frazier lays down the 1-3 sacrifice bunt, and Colton Montgomery moves into scoring position here for Adam Thurman. So Adam Thurman, now the pitcher of record.
Canes pitcher, number 22, Adam Thurman.
Steps in here. We're in the bottom half of the third inning. Canes leading at 5-2 if you're just joining us. The pitch. That one outside. A 1-0 here to Adam Thurman. Ben Venners, the DH, comes to the on-deck circle. And again, Thurman steps in. The pitch. That one inside for the called strike, 1-1. Good looking pitch that time by Drew Brooks. So Thurman steps back in. The pitch. That one high. 2-1. So Thurman makes his way back to the box. The pitch. That ball swung on and popped up in foul territory. And making his way underneath it is Dial for the second out of the inning. So a tough break for the Canes offensively, but now Ben Venners comes to the plate in the 9-hole. Venners had a single back in the first inning against Drew Brooks, and now he makes his way back in to hit from the left side of the box. 2 down, a runner in scoring position here for Cartersville, bottom half of the 3rd inning.
Designated hitter number 26, Ben Venners.
So Venners steps in. And the pitch. Swung on, and that ball hit to second. Coming on to make the play is Andrews. He fires on to first in time. That'll do it. It goes 4-3, and the Hurricanes get it done off a hit. They leave one. We move to the top half of the 4th. It's still Cartersville 5, Columbus 2. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, folks. Chuck Clancy here for Chuck Clancy Chrysler Dodge Jeep. You know, folks, during these economic times, we were a little scared. But guess what? Chrysler chose us to be the premier dealer for North Georgia. That's right. Chrysler chose us. Folks, with rebates as high as $11,000 and at factory invoices 0%, it's the best time to buy an automobile. You need to come on down here at Chuck Clancy Chrysler Dodge Jeep in Cartersville. We're letting them go, folks, and all we need to prove it is you.
And welcome back. You're watching the Workhorse Productions High School Baseball Game of the Week as we move to the top half of the 4th inning, and it will be 8-9-1 here for the Blue Devils to face Adam Thurman. So Thurman, who worked a successful 3rd, will continue with the honors here.
3rd baseman, 44, J.T. Phillips.
In the 4th. So J.T. Phillips now steps in, the 8-hitter. Phillips walked in his first plate appearance. The pitch. That one away, 1-0. So Phillips now steps in. And the 1-0. Popped up and out of play. 0-1. So Phillips now makes his way back. Again, for a state championship crowd, very quiet here today. And I think it's really because the fans are reserved on both sides. Nobody really knows the situation right now. And nobody really knows what to expect here in this day. And it's just a very quiet crowd for a state championship series at this point. The 1-1 outside.
Well,
2-1.
Scott, fascinating that after the barrage in the first inning, we've had pretty much goose eggs after that.
Right. Well, we'll see how long this lasts. And the pitch. That one high. 3-1 now to J.T. Phillips. And this is a part in the lineup that Thurman really needs to get an out in. I mean, you got the 8 and 9 hitters. You want to take care of business there before you go back to the top of the order.
No doubt. You want to face Bryce Dial with nobody on base.
That ball swung on and hit deep to center, but camping underneath it out there in center is Donovan Tate. So a big out right there, the first of the 4th inning, and that now brings Phil Weiss to the plate, the DH. And that brings Bryce Dial to the on-deck circle.
Actually, Brad Bartow is going to come in and hit for Weiss. Bartow was the replacement for Weiss yesterday. Even saw some action at 3rd base.
So Bartow will come in to hit from the left side.
Now batting for Columbus, number 18, Brad Bartow.
Doubled and walked in game number 2.
So Bartow steps in with 1 out. The pitch. In there for a called strike, 0-1. Caught that outside corner.
And you have to wonder, Weiss struck out his 1 at bat, but how often do you see a left-hander brought in to face a left-hander?
The 0-1 swung on, and that ball fouled down the first baseline. Make it 0-2 now to Brad Bartow. between innings. The Hurricanes had some action in their bullpen. Justin Croft has been working over there, and Donovan Tate was throwing a little bullpen action between innings. So far, the ball belongs to the Hurricanes' Adam Thurman. The 0-2, up high. They get 1-2. Thurman heads back up on the hill. And the 1-2 count. Bartow digs in the pitch. Swung on, and that ball hitting the infield. Coming on to make the play is Boston. Fields it, fires on to first in time. It goes 4-3, and it's 2 up, 2 down here for the Blue Devils in the top of the 4th.
And once again, important from a pitch count standpoint that Thurman, although he gave up a couple hits last inning, didn't throw an awful lot of pitches in that inning of work. And on line to continue that right here, but a really tough out at the plate, and Bryce Dial, perhaps the toughest one of the entire series.
The pitch swung on, and that ball hammered towards center, and it's gone. And that ball well over the mark at 375, and Bryce Dial had some words with the crowd on the right field fence.
Actually had those for the Cartersville dugout.
And his coaching staff is not happy right here. The first base coach is apologizing to the Cartersville dugout, and Bryce Dial has been told by Bobby Howard, he's been warned. And again, you don't want to get too far into this. I mean, Bobby Howard is taking care of it right there. There's not too many coaches as classy as Bobby Howard, and he's taking care of the problem right here. And this has been going on for 2 days now and was going to come to fruition sooner or later.
Let's not forget that there are heaping mountains full of adrenaline pumping through young bodies right now.
Right.
Kid just hit his second home run of the game.
Right.
And his performance on the field has been nothing short of spectacular. Some of the extracurricular stuff you just hate to see, but once again, these are it's easy to forget. A lot of these guys aren't even old enough to vote, some not even old enough to drive.
Right, exactly.
And you put them in a pressure cooker like this, and some are going to act certain ways, and some are going to act differently.
Right. And I tell you, I can tell you right now that when Bryce Dial started jarring with the crowd yesterday, he went 4 for 5, and he's 2 for 2 with 2 long balls today. So my advice to the Cartersville crowd over here would be to stop getting involved with the guy. Because obviously that's just making him better. He's the type like that. You're not going to, get a rise out of him. I mean, you are going to rise out of him, but that rise is going to also work with his bat.
Marcus McQueen, the pinch hitter, Scott.
So McQueen comes in for Bobby Andrews in the 2-hole, and the count even at 1. So McQueen now steps in to hit from the right side of the box. Pitch. Swing and a miss right there, 1-2. Good looking pitch that time by Adam Thurman. So again, McQueen steps in, and the 1-2. In there for called strike 3, gets him looking, and that will do it. The Blue Devils do, however, get it done off one hit, and it was a big one as it left the park. Second shot of the day for Bryce Dial, and we move to the bottom half of the 4th inning. It's the Canes 5, Columbus 3. We'll be right back after this.
Fruit Jar Cafe's nostalgic atmosphere, country home meals will take you back to a simpler time. Relax while we serve you freshly cooked vegetables. Fried catfish, juicy chicken breast, or the best chicken fried steak you've ever tasted. We'll even throw in an all-you-can-eat bean bar, as well as fresh cornbread muffins with every platter. The Fruit Jar Cafe is located on Highway 20 off I-75 at exit 290. Come join us Tuesday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, or for Sunday brunch. We hope we'll see you soon.
And welcome back, and there you see Bryce Dial, and again, he has been the player of controversy here, but he has definitely spoken on the field with 2 home runs. And I think the situation is at hand right now. For the Canes, the top of the order coming up here. Donovan Tate takes the first pitch. 1-0. Boston and Bridges also due up this inning. Here we are in the bottom half of the fourth. That ball swung on and hit to short, coming on to make the play. And they throw off the bag is Dial that time as McClendon Hill threw it high. And Donovan Tate beats out the throw. And again, that is not an error on the play because of the way Hill had to come back to his back. And look, he's over. He's not even playing it off the infield. He's playing it off the grass. And again, very, very close call. The foot may still have been there. That one was pretty close call, though. And Donovan Tate leads off with a single now, and Garrison Boston makes his way to the box. They throw on back to the bag at first, where the runner is safe. And again, the pitch. That one outside. 1-0 now to Garrison Boston. One and 0 the count. And again, the fans starting to get on somebody out there. And again, Boston steps in. They throw on back to the bag at first, and again, the runner is safe. Again, Donovan Tate takes that lead off first. And the 1-0. Runner going, and they will throw on to second and then back to first in time. And it goes 6-4-3, and just like that, the Blue Devils turn the double play, and that brings Ben Bridges up. And again, Donovan Tate, not a good jump that time off of first. He hesitated a minute before the jump, and the key to the hit and run is to get him going, and then when you play that ball at second base, an opportunity to break it up. But that did not happen, and 2 outs in the books now for the Canes as Ben Bridges steps in. And the pitch. That one in the dirt. 1-0. And the key for the Canes here is to get to Drew Brooks because he has found success on the hill. Again, you got by Taylor Wolf. You won't see him again. Matt Taylor could possibly come in for an inning, although he has hit a ton, and that ball fouled down the first base line. And Ben Bridges going to drop the bat funny in a scary motion, and the count's even at 1. 2 down here. We are in the bottom half of the fourth inning. It's a 2-run game, 5-3. Cartersville leading it. They have had the lead since the bottom of the first. All the scoring for the Canes came in the first. And the 1-1. Swung on, and that ball hammered to left. It's going back to the fence, and that ball off the wall. And Bridges will round first, headed for second, and he'll slide in with a double, and now Hank Stewart comes to the box. So Ben Bridges slides in with a double. Puts the Hurricanes with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs here in the bottom half of the fourth inning.
Catcher number 3, Hank Stewart.
So Hank Stewart now steps in to hit from the right side of the box with a runner in scoring position and 2 down. The pitch. That one in there for a called strike, 0-1. So Drew Brooks heads back up on the hill. Brooks got the call with 1 out in the first and has gone the whole way so far. That one outside, 1-1. So Drew Brooks heads back up on the hill. Again, the wind blowing out here at Richard Bell Field. Travis Ben gives him the sign. Brooks heads back up on the hill. Checks his runner, the 1-1. Way inside now to Hank Stewart. 2-1 now to Stewart. Stewart steps back in. 2-1 the count. And the pitch. Swung on, and that ball hit to the opposite field, but it's going to stay in the park, and underneath it is the right fielder there for the Blue Devils, Taylor Wolf, and That will do it here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. The Canes get it done off 2 hits. They leave one. We move to the top half of the fifth inning. It's now Cartersville 5, Columbus 3. We'll be right back after this.
Weather is so unpredictable. Focus on what's important, your family's safety. Everyone's okay. What do we do now? Call your hometown agent. They'll refer you to Wynn Pontiac Buick GMC Auto Body Repair Center. We've been taking care of families just like you since 1975, and we'll take care of all the details now.
Come see us. We'll handle everything.
And welcome back, and there you see the Hurricane faithful down the first base line here at Richard Bell Field as we move to the top half of the fifth inning. And due up here for the Blue Devils will be 3, 4, and 5, and this will be a big at bat here for Columbus, and could be a big defensive stand here for the Canes with a 2-run lead here in the fifth. Way to the plate. So Taylor will step in to hit from the right side of the box. Taylor 1 for 2 today, singled back in the first, popped up to short back in the third. He steps in. Thurman up on the hill. The pitch. That one high, 1-0. That time Hank Stewart trying to frame that one up nicely. The pitch, way inside, and he hits him, and Matt Taylor is aboard. So that brings the 4-hitter Kyle Carter in, and with one swing of the bat, Carter could tie this one up. So Kyle Carter now steps in after Matt Taylor was hit by a pitch.
Number 36, Kyle Carter.
So Carter will now step in to hit from the left side of the box. Again, a runner on and nobody out. The pitch, that one high, 1-0. Adam Thurman has given the Canes 2 solid innings, and we'll see how long the leash is on him right here as he's struggled so far here in the fifth. The 1-0. That one just a bit inside, make it 2-0. That's not what Thurman wanted, because now he's got to throw a good pitch here to Kyle Carter, and again, a good pitch to him is always dangerous. Throw on back to the bag at first, and the runner is safe. Matt Taylor quickly back to the bag at first. And now Kyle Carter steps in to hit from the left side again. The 2-0. That one outside, 3-0 to Kyle Carter. Carter steps in, the 3-0. That one misses high, and he walks him. So a hit batter and a walk, and he got runners aboard on first and second and nobody out, and now the big bat of Travis Ben comes in, and Ben 0 for 2 today. Struck out back in the first, flew out to center back in the third. And now you got a little meeting on the mound, and that may be it for Adam Thurman. We'll see if Coach Chester leaves him in or he gives him one more batter. So Coach Chester looks around his infield. And I believe he may be making the change, and he is. So we will take a quick break as well, tell you about the new pitcher when they come back. You're watching the Workhorse Productions High School Baseball Game of the Week. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, folks. Chuck Clancy here for Chuck Clancy Chrysler Dodge Jeep. You know, folks, during these economic times, we were a little scared. But guess what? Chrysler chose us to be the premier dealer for North Georgia. That's right. Chrysler chose us. Folks, with rebates as high as $11,000 and at factory invoices 0%, it's the best time to buy an automobile. You need to come on down here at Chuck Clancy Chrysler Dodge Jeep in Cartersville. We're letting them go, folks, and all we need to prove it is you.
And welcome back, and there you see Ben Bridges, and the Hurricanes have gone to Mr. Clutch here. Now, Ben Bridges did not get the call yesterday in a must-win game 2, and again, the Hurricanes were going to try to save him as long as they possibly could today, and Coach Chester has made the call. So Garrison Boston has now come over to play short. Swing and a miss right there, 0-1. The Blue Devils are very familiar with Ben Bridges. They saw him in Game 2 and in Game 3 last year. He got the victory in both games while setting a state record for wins in a playoff run with 6. And again, Bridges up on the hill. Checks his runner at second. And the 0-1. Swung on, and that ball popped up. It'll stay in right, and the runner will tag. They will hold him up in the corners here, and Ben Bridges will head back up on the hill. So that brings Taylor Wolf to the plate. Wolf 1 for 1 with a walk here. He reached base on balls in the second, singled in the third, and now with 1 out in the 5th comes back in. So Ben Bridges up on the hill for Cartersville. So Taylor Wolf steps in. Tying run is at first, the go-ahead run at the plate. Swing and a miss right there, 0-1. So Taylor Wolf steps back in. Again, the change defensively for the Canes brings Taylor Green to second, and Garrison Boston goes to short. Thurman goes back to right field, and Trey Dixon gets subbed for by Tyler Green. And it didn't really matter offensively because Venners was hitting for everybody anyway. The 0-1 outside, make it 1-1 now to Taylor Wolf. So Taylor Wolf steps back in. The count even at 1 here for Ben Bridges. That ball fouled down, make it 1-2. And you hear the fans getting into it right here as Bridges heads back up on the hill. The 1-2. Did he come at that one? They will not ask for help. Give him the check swing. 2-2. So again, the pitch by Bridges. Outside, make it full. So Taylor Wolf now steps back in. Hitting from the left side, the count full. Runners in the corners with 1 out. Here we are in the top half of the 5th inning. Bridges checks his runner at third. Comes off the hill, and the runners go back to their bags. So that brings Taylor Wolf back in. With the count full, Bridges heads back up on the hill. The payoff pitch inside, and he walks the bases loaded. So the first walk issued by Ben Bridges on the full count, and now McClendon Hill comes to the plate. So the go-ahead run at first, the tying run in scoring position, and McClendon Hill steps in with only 1 out. Here we are, top half of the 5th inning. A lot of baseball to be played here in this state championship series. So Hill steps in. And again, Bridges up on the hill. Pitch. That one gets away, but the runners stay put, 1-0. Bridges heads back up on the hill. The 1-0. That one misses away. 2-0. Bridges heads back up on the hill. And again, the base is loaded with 1 out. And the 2-0. Swing and a miss right there, make it 2-1. Huge at bat here for both teams. McLennan Hill stepping back in. Ben Bridges back up on the hill. Bridges gets the sign. And the 2-1. That ball hit in the infield. Coming on to make the play is Taylor Green, and he bobbles it. It'll go E4, and a run comes home. So on the air, it's now a 5-4 game, and that brings JT Phillips to the plate with 1 out. Take a look at it again. Ball hit right to second, and Green bobbles it going inside. And one of the problems when you bring Ben Bridges in is you change up the defense a little bit. And you have that situation right there. A miss outside, 1-0. 5-4 here for JT Phillips. And a 1-0 count, 1 out. Here we are, top half of the 5th inning. Phillips steps back in. Bridges up on the hill. Gets his sign. And the 1-0. Swing and a miss right there, make it 1-1. So Phillips steps back in the box. He digs in, the count even at 1. And the pitch. Swung on, and that ball lasered up the middle. It's down for a base hit. 1 run will come home, and now we're tied at 5 here in the top half of the 5th inning. So an RBI single for JT Phillips, and that brings Brad Bartow to the plate. So Bartow now steps in. The hit from the left side of the box. Again, bases loaded, still 1 out. So those 2 runs are credited to Adam Thurman. So the line on Thurman is now closed. 2 complete innings, faced 11 batters, 3 hits, 2 runs. They were all earned. 1 walk and 1 strikeout, gave up 1 home run and hit 1 batter. So Ben Bridges will now try to close the door here on the Blue Devils here in the bottom half of the 5th inning, and Bryce Dial due up next here for Columbus. So Brad Bartow steps in, the pitch. That one in there for a called strike, 0-1. So Bartow digs back in, the count 0-1. Bridges on the hill, checks his runners, the 0-1. That ball popped up, and coming underneath it is Garrison Boston at short as he runs that one down. And now we got 2 outs, and that brings Bryce Dial to the plate. Dial, 2 for 3 today with 2 long balls. And a big out for Cartersville defensively if they can get it right here. So Ben Bridges up on the hill. 2 down, here we are. Top half of the 5th inning. And Bryce Dial makes his way to the box. Time is called by Dial. Dial steps in. And the pitch. Did he come around? He did. 0-1. Good looking pitch that time by Ben Bridges. So Ben Bridges back up on the hill. Dial steps in. Time's called. And again, a very, very tense moment here at Richard Bell Field in Game 3 of this best-of-3 series. So Bryce Dial at the plate. 2 outs, here we are, top half of the 5th inning. So Dial steps in, hitting from the right side. The count 0-1. Bridges up on the hill. Gets the sign. And the pitch. That one just outside, 1-1. So Ben Bridges heads back up on the hill. The count even at 1. And again, Hank Stewart gives him the sign. And the pitch. That ball swung on and hit in the gap. It's down for a base hit. 1 run will come home. They're going to send another. We could have a play at the plate, not in time, and it'll be a 2 RBI single for Bryce Dial. And just like that, Columbus has grabbed a lead. It's now 7-5 here in the top of the 7th, still with 2 outs, and that brings Bobby Andrews to the plate. 4th run driven in here on the day for Bryce Dial, and he just hammers that one in the gap. It's down for a base hit. And now Bobby Andrews comes to the plate. Columbus with a 7-5 advantage here in the 5th. But remember, there's a lot of baseball still to be played. So it's 7-5 in the 5th, and Bobby Andrews now makes his way to the plate. Ben Bridges will stay in the game. And again, Bryce Dial continues to be the tough out here for the Canes. So Andrews steps in. Bridges checks his runner at second. Pitch. Swing and a miss right there, 0-1. Bobby Andrews, a strikeout victim 3 times here in this 3rd and deciding game. And the 0-1. That one outside, 1-1. So again, Bobby Andrews digs in, the count even at 1. Bridges checks his runner and comes off the hill, and he goes back to the bag at second. Bridges back up on the hill. Again, checks the runner at second. The pitch. Swing and a miss right there, 1-2. So now Ben Bridges has a couple pitches to play with here for Bobby Andrews. Bridges up on the hill. And the 1-2. That one outside, make it 2-2. So Bobby Andrews steps in. The count even, the pitch. Swung on, and that ball hit down the line at first. It'll go 3 unassisted, and that'll do it here in the 5th. But the Blue Devils get it done. Off 4 hits, they score 4 and leave 2. We move to the bottom half of the 5th inning. It's Columbus 7, Cartersville 5. We'll be right back after this.
Fruit Jar Cafe's nostalgic atmosphere and country home meals will take you back to a simpler time. Relax while we serve you freshly cooked vegetables, fried catfish, juicy chicken breast, or the best chicken fried steak you've ever tasted. We'll even throw in an all-you-can-eat bean bar, as well as fresh cornbread muffins with every platter. Fruit Jar Cafe is located on Highway 20 off I-75 at exit 290. Come join us Tuesday through Saturday for lunch and dinner or for Sunday brunch. We hope we'll see you soon.
And welcome back. Here we go. Bottom half of the 5th inning. Cartersville with plenty of time left, now trailing at 7-5. Their first deficit since the first inning, and now here in the 5th, Cole Payne makes his way to the box. Payne 1 for 2 today. A grand slam in the first and flew out to left in the second with a well-hit ball. We'll see what he can do here against Drew Brooks. Second time he's faced him today. That pitch swung on, hit off the nub of the bat, kind of in no man's land down the line, and they will try to field it barehanded and can't do it, and he'll beat out the throw. Just a little infield single for Cole Payne, and the Hurricanes have a base runner here in the 5th, and that brings Colton Montgomery to the plate. So we take a look at it here on the replay, and you see just trying to barehand that ball and pick it up and throw it. I don't think he felt like he had time if he gripped it with the glove that he could get it done.
Colton Montgomery.
So Colton Montgomery steps in. That ball swung on, and a little dribbler through the infield. They fire on to second and can't turn 2, so Montgomery is aboard on the fielder's choice. So it goes 6-4, and that brings Lane Frazier to the plate.
First baseman number 11, Lane Frazier.
So Lane Frazier was hit by a pitch back in the 1st and sacrificed a runner over in the 3rd. Here he is in the 5th. The pitch way inside. They throw on down the line to second, and the runner is safe. A stolen base for Colton Montgomery. So now with a runner in scoring position, Lane Frazier will step back in. So Lane Frazier now steps back in. 1-0. And the pitch. That one in there for a called strike, 1-1. So Drew Brooks continues to find his spots. And the count even at 1. Again, Lane Frazier now steps in. The pitch. Swung on, and that ball hit down the line. It's short. It's in for a base hit. They're going to go ahead and send the runner. That ball gets away. Frazier will be able to go to second, and no play. It'll be in there with, it'll be a single for Lane Frazier, and then he'll advance to, I guess we can just go ahead and give him the, I guess the official score here will be Frazier gets to first with the single, and then the error gave him an extra base, and a run comes home. So it is now a 1-run game here, and the tying run is in scoring position here for the Canes, and Adam Thurman makes his way to the box with 1 out. Ben Venners moves to the on-deck circle. The pitch. That one in there for a called strike, 0-1. So Drew Brooks heads back up on the hill. So Adam Thurman steps back in. The 0-1. That one in there for a called strike, make it 0-2. So Adam Thurman steps back in. And the count 0-2 on Adam Thurman. The pitch. Swung on, he fouls it away. Nice job by Adam Thurman protecting the plate with 2 strikes. And Adam Thurman steps back in with the count 0-2.
Did I miss anything?
Matt Santini pulling double duty with the radio today and taking care of a problem outside the press box, and now everything's back to normal, Matt. The 0-2. That one in the dirt. Make it 1-2.
Well, I felt bad. We were up by 2 when I left, and we were down by 2 when I got back. So at least we've closed the gap since I've been back. I don't yield that kind of that amount of power, but sure it'd be nice to feel like I'm good mojo anyway.
They throw on back to the bag at second, where the runner is safe, 1-2.
Interestingly enough, we had a piece of equipment on the radio side go down, so I figured we're doing it on the. We tried to use the backup piece of equipment that's in City Hall. I couldn't. My access card didn't work for City Hall.
That's strange. That one hit down the line at third. It bounces off the third baseman and sliding in, and everybody's safe, and Thurman is aboard. That one goes E5, and the Hurricanes have another base runner.
Boy, Lane Frazier really landed in there to get into third, winning hard head first, and now Morgan might have a pitching change as Bobby Howard coming on out to talk with his pitcher.
So Drew Brooks, who has pitched the Blue Devils out of a couple jams here today, is now going to get a talking to by his head coach, and I don't know if that'll do it or not for him.
You know, I don't know that he's taking him out or not. I think he's giving him a pat on the back and saying, look, guys, I think he motioned to the left side of the infield almost as to say, look, he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's getting ground balls. You guys need to pick him up a little bit.
Well, with a runner on third, you have the tying run just 90 feet away. Donovan Tate steps in now. Or actually, Ben Venners now steps in. Donovan Tate moves to the on-deck circle with one out. A fly ball here by Venners could score the tying run as Lane Frazier sits just 90 feet away.
I would have been back sooner, but actually I was accosted on the way back in. For whatever reason, people always think I'm in charge wherever I am. I guess that's – but I guess there's some mixing of fans on one side or the other, and I was being asked to intervene so that there weren't any problems. I just passed. I said I have absolutely no authority here. I just work here. Actually, I don't work here. I'm just here watching a ball game.
They throw on back to the bag at first, and the runner is safe. Drew Brooks still on the hill here for the Blue Devils. Again, he got the nod back in the first with one out, replacing Taylor Wolf, and he has been here ever since. 7-6 game here in the top half, or the bottom half of the fifth inning, and the Canes trying to get it done here at the plate. The tying run just 90 feet away here for Ben Venners. Venners gets aboard. It's the top of the order. Tries to come out, and the runner will move. It's a strike call, but now you got two in scoring position for Venners. And the count goes 0-1 as the ball came out of the hands of Travis Ben, and it was an easy move for the runner at first as Adam Thurman quickly stole second.
And Scott, as equally important is the fact that you take the double play away. Venner's a guy that hits the ball hard, and with one down, now the traditional double play goes away.
So the 0-1 pitch swung on, and that ball hit to second. They're going to bobble it right there. It'll go E4. They're going to send the tying run to the plate. He gets down. He's safe, and the Hurricanes have grabbed an 8-7 advantage. 2 runs come home on the air, and the Hurricanes are in business. They retake the lead. It's 8-7 here in the bottom half of the fifth, and the top of the order coming up with one out.
Well, Scott, you couldn't ask for anything more out of Drew Brooks. He got a ground ball, and now all 3 of the infielders have cost him in this inning. And you see right here, outside part of the plate, Venners hit it hard but rolled over the top of it, and Andrews just unable to make that play.
So here we are, bottom half of the fifth inning, and again the infield will now come together. I think we're going to make a change at second. Bobby Andrews, I believe, is coming out, and they are going to replace him with number 4.
Hunter Bricado, Scott, played a little bit of third base last night late in the game. Bobby Andrews going to give way to him. Andrews a junior, Bricado also a junior.
So back-to-back errors have led to the Hurricanes 3 runs, and now, I mean, everything's unearned here in this inning.
They still count.
They still count.
And if you think, you're having trouble keeping up with your score sheet, you have no idea how liberating it is to go over. There's no rectifying what's not on my score sheet. So I'm just going to sit back and not do that part of it, and not even going to try. As we got people shifting everywhere. The left field, there's going to be a little bit of a shift. Is now checking in out there. As Bobby Andrews went and got a different glove.
So he's going out to left. And I think what might be happening is Kyle Carter is getting ready to throw, I believe. Maybe that's the situation, is why they brought him.
Well, Ben Kaysen was in left field the beginning of the inning anyway, so maybe they had Carter over there waiting.
Can't tell if there's any action over there in the Columbus bullpen or not.
Really can't tell from our vantage point here. Chester's flashing hand signals across the diamond, looking for. Want to know if somebody's raised, asking Ben. I believe it's Ben. Are you good to go? To know whether or not he can get somebody in the. Needs to get somebody ready.
So we still have a delay here on the field. Are there any more changes defensively here for Columbus?
No, but I think part of it is this is really playing to Columbus's advantage because, the more time they spend replacing people defensively, the more time you can get Carter warmed up to get into this ball game if that's indeed what they're looking to do. So Cartersville takes the lead. Venner's on first, and Donovan Tate at the plate. Bottom of the fifth inning, Scott. Once again, for a while, we'll throw a bunch of goose eggs up there and everybody settles in, and then the floodgates open.
Well, I'm sure glad you're back. It's changed things up a little bit.
I can't tell, and from our vantage point, I can't tell which side of the field is yelling.
Yeah, I know. There's so much yelling coming back from both sides.
Well, now Kaysen is heading back out to left field. And now coming off the field, changing gloves again, is Bobby Andrews. And coming out of the game is Hunter Bricado. Now maybe they're, and I'm wondering, with all the shifting that they did, once again I've been gone, but when Carter came out, Kaysen was used, I think, as I was listening on the radio, I think he may have been used as a pinch runner and not a replacement runner. So what's happened is that Kaysen had already entered the game in another slot in the lineup, so that made Kaysen an ineligible player to be on the field. Now, I don't know what the end result, if he's already played some and they didn't catch it until now, I don't know what the penalty for that is. But if Kaysen was a pinch runner, exited the lineup, he came in as a pinch runner during the last inning. If he didn't run for Carter, then he would have entered the game in a different spot in the batting order. You could re-enter once in high school, but it has to be in the same spot of the lineup.
Right.
So,
and if he ran for somebody, they can go back to the scorebook, and if he ran in the wrong place, that would be an out, right?
And if they, how do you call it an out now when there's absolutely nobody? And this is where my GHS, my high school rule book is a little bit old and wrinkly, but it appears like they've shifted everybody back.
So I'm not sure who's out in left field now. It looks like
left field is Kaysen. He came back out. And maybe they determined that he was just a courtesy runner and not a pinch runner. So Kaysen is at – basically, this was all just a –
that ball lifted into left. It's down for a base hit. That ball will roll to the wall. The Hurricanes will go ahead and send the runner. Venners will hold up at third, and it'll be a double for Donovan Tate, and the Hurricanes come up big here in the fifth.
Boy, he really turned and drilled that one. First time he's really had an opportunity. They've pitched him so far inside, really locked him up. That time he gets the head of the bat out front. A huge double right there. And now with two runners in scoring position, we talked after the 5-2 lead was gotten. We said it's going to take at least 10 runs to win this baseball game.
Right.
Garrison with a chance to get them into double digits with a base hit here.
A hit here by Boston could score two. You got the speed of Tate at second. You got a runner at third. They're going to go ahead and intentionally walk him and bring Ben Bridges in. I'm not so sure.
Well, Ben is, I think, was 1 for 9 for the championship series before his last at bat.
Yeah, but he hammered one his last.
And he hit it hard the last time though. And the other thing is, psychologically, I've had the guy in front of me walked intentionally a few times. It really zeroes you in.
The pitch, swing and a miss right there to Ben Bridges. 0-1 here to Bridges. Ben steps back in, bases loaded. Here we are, bottom half of the fifth inning.
Drew Brooks has continued to battle. You got to give him some credit too.
Brooks with a pitch outside. 1-1. So Ben Bridges steps back in. Again, the count even at 1. The pitch swung on, and that ball lined down at third. 1 run will come home. The Hurricanes will wave Tate. There will be no play at home, and it will be an RBI single for Ben Bridges, and the Hurricanes have grabbed an 11-7 advantage.
They'll get a courtesy runner in for Bridges, who makes the Blue Devils pay.
2 RBI for Ben Bridges, and the Hurricanes have opened up a 10-7 lead. I'm sorry, the scoreboard had another one on there, so it's actually just a 10-7 lead, a 3-run lead here for the Canes after the 2 RBI single. And
At the plate for the Canes, catcher number 3, Hank Stewart.
so the Hurricanes have brought in a courtesy runner, and that ball hit down the line at third. It goes unassisted. They throw across the diamond in time. So it goes 5 unassisted, 3, and that will do it, but not before the Hurricanes get it done off 3 hits, 2 errors. They score 5 and leave 2. We move to the top half of the 6th inning. It's 10-7. We'll be right back after this.
Everyone's okay. What do we do now? Call your hometown agent. They'll refer you to Win Pontiac Buick GMC Auto Body Repair Center. We've been taking care of families just like you since 1975, and we'll take care of all the details now, like towing. We handle that. Insurance company, we handle that too. A rental car, we also handle that. Loaner cars, we even handle that.
Come see us. We'll handle everything.
We go to the top half of the 6th inning. There's Adam Thurman. Played a big part in that last inning. 10-7 Hurricanes, top of the 6th. They reclaim the lead. Ben Bridges going to take the hill to start this 6th inning of play. He will face the 3, 4, and 5 hitters. Critical to get through this with no damage here. If you can only give up a hit or two, you got the bottom of their lineup in the 7th if you look ahead. If not, you got to go through that meat grinder that includes Bryce Dial before you can walk away with a potential victory. As the first pitch is low and away, that's ball 1. Taylor has singled and homered. Hit by a pitch. And there's a strike on the outside corner. He's also flied out to shortstop. Pitched a whale of a ball game in game number 1. Stands in here with his team down by 3, looking to get something going against the senior right-hander. A lot of velocity on that fastball, and it's past him for strike 2. Kyle Carter on deck. Bridges kicks and fires. Close. It's 2-2. Ben works from right on top of the rubber. Chopped right up the middle. Boston ranging to his left. It's going to go off the top of his glove and into center field. Wasn't hit that hard, but hit in the right place. A leadoff single for Matt Taylor, his 2nd of the afternoon. That'll bring up Kyle Carter. His exploits well documented. Singled and walked. Mixed in with a fly out to left. To the third baseman, Cole Payne.
Number 36, Kyle Carter.
3 home runs in game number 1. Only a freshman. Wind continues to blow directly out. Ben peers in. Frazier will play in front of the runner. Fastball, outside corner, strike 1. Got off to a real quick start, and then everybody stopped hitting, and then everybody started an inning or so ago. Curveball fouled straight back. It's quickly 0-2. Bridges, it always appears that he's just playing catch in his backyard. Doesn't appear, at least outwardly, that he's got a care in the world. Fastball outside, and it's 1-2. Try to get him to chase. 1-2, nobody out. Bridges, long look in, fires another fastball, fouled off the third base side. And it remains 1-2. You're kind of quick. We'll let you catch your breath.
I don't know how good a
Bridges.
shape I am these days.
Curveball lifted, left center field. Montgomery is out there fighting the afternoon sun. Squeezes it with 2 hands like they teach you from the time you're 6 years old. And there's out number 1 and a big out That is. That'll bring up Travis Ben, the catcher. He's hit a couple balls hard. Flew out to center and to right field, mixed in with a strikeout back in the first. He's got a tremendous amount of power. Like I said, can't say it enough. If you can get through this inning in good shape without letting them rally, you'll be facing the bottom of their order, which isn't a cakewalk, but certainly is better than the top to middle. Drops down with a curveball, kicks at the dirt in disgust as it sails wide for ball one. Ben versus Ben, I guess.
Yeah, there you go.
Travis Ben has spent all his time on the plate, just like Hank Stewart has for Cartersville. Fastball skied out of play down the first base side, and the count is even. Wouldn't expect Matt Taylor to be running in this situation, but then again, nobody would have expected him to steal home back in the first inning either. Frazier continues to play in front of him, giving Bridges the option to throw to the base. You can't throw to an unoccupied base. Frazier is within that range. Fastball down and away and a swing and a miss, and it's 1-2.
Good looking pitch that time by Ben Bridges. Just threw the fastball right across the plate. Got a little movement, and boy, what a pitch.
He's the knuckle down here. Deep on the left-hand side of the infield. Fastball up and away, and it's 2-2. Tried to show him something a little bit extra on that fastball, and it sailed wide of the zone. From the belt comes Bridges. Long look in. Chopped down the third base side. It's going to be a foul ball. And it'll remain 2-2. Well, now that you've taken the run out to center field both days, is today more crowded than yesterday?
Oh yeah, there are a lot of people out there today enjoying the outfield fence. It's a little hotter out there today too. It was a nicer run yesterday.
Curveball gets back. Actually thrown into center field by Stewart. Now Taylor's going to try to advance to third. The throw by Tate is less than good. Cole Payne will field it on the roll. Ball was way outside. Stewart had to dive outside just to try to catch the ball. His throw, as a result, was wild and went into center field, allowing Taylor, as you see right here, this pitch sailing way outside. Stewart's throw then sailed into center field, and Donovan unable to really come through and put anything on that throw.
He didn't have much left there to throw. That ball hit right back to the pitcher. Great play. They throw it on back to the bag at first. Great move by Ben Bridges off the hill, and that's the senior experience right there. He comes off, grabs the ball, looks down, coming like a cat off that mound. Looks down the runner, and I mean, what a play. I mean, just what a play defensively.
Takes an awful lot of savvy. That was a hard hit ball. And now 2 gone in this inning. And Taylor Wolf, who singled and walked today. Actually walked a couple times. That ball's going to be skied out of play down the third base side. And Bridges is out 0-1. I was saying earlier, Bridges always looks like he's just out there by himself. No big deal, kind of unflappable. At least outwardly. I'm sure there's butterflies going. He takes a deep breath as he comes set. Curveball's going to hang outside. Didn't have much break to that. Maybe he tried to just do a straight change. Something that didn't look like it was in his normal repertoire. And it's 1-1. Wolf stands in. That ball's going to be shot down the third base side, and it's 1-2. They've worked him away this entire at bat. He hasn't been able to get around on the fastball away. You come inside and try to lock him up. I think you got to stay fastball. Don't speed up his bat.
Yeah, definitely. I think you've got to really, you can't really worry with the runner at third here. The out is so important, and I think you come inside on him a little bit. Ben Bridges shaked off that first sign.
Still very dangerous here. Trying to get him to chase, and it's 2-2.
So Ben Bridges with a couple pitches to play with. Threw it outside, and What a move.
Toe the rubber, peer in. Bridges gets the sign from Stewart. Rests at the belt and fires the 2-2 pitch. It's a fastball, once again fouled away off to the left as Wolf continues to battle here in the top half of the 6th inning. 2 outs, 2 balls and 2 strikes, runner at third, and the Blue Devils trailing Cartersville 10-7 in the 3rd game of the AAA state playoffs. State finals. There is no tomorrow. Bridges again. Fastball outside, and it's 3-2. On deck is McClendon Hill. And it looks like Marcus McQueen may pinch hit for him should that spot get reached. The payoff pitch. Down and away. Oh, they're going to call strike 3. Called strike 3, ends the inning in dramatic fashion. Bridges gets out of it with no damage done. There was 1 hit, no errors, and that runner that's leadoff singled was stranded at third. We've played 5.5. Cartersville continues to lead this one 10-7.
Hi, folks. Chuck Clancy here for Chuck Clancy Chrysler Dodge Jeep. You know, folks, during these economic times, we were a little scared, but guess what? Chrysler chose us to be the premier dealer for North Georgia. That's right, Chrysler chose us. Folks, with rebates as high as $11,000 and at factory invoices 0%, it's the best time to buy an automobile. You need to come on down here at Chuck Clancy Chrysler Dodge Jeep in Cartersville. We're letting them go, folks, and all we need to prove it is you.
And welcome back to Richard Bell Field. As you see some of the media coverage here today, and the stations from Columbus here as well as us, so lots of video cameras around the park today. And I'd like to thank the Cartersville fans out in center field. Our center field 10 is an unmanned camera, and the tent fell down, and those guys came to our rescue and saved me a sprint to center field. The pitch way inside, it hit him, and Cole Payne is aboard. So,
well, if you're going to get hit, that's the way you want to get hit. Just barely nipped him. Still counts. Even if it hits your clothing, it counts.
So Colton Montgomery now makes his way to the plate. So a runner on with nobody out, and Montgomery will now step in, and the breeze starting to blow through a little bit here at Richard Bell Field. And
I think some debate as to whether or not you'd put in a replacement for Cole Payne. Once again, he could exit and re-enter, but that knee seems to be working all right today.
They throw a bunt right down the first base line, and it's going to be a great run there by Montgomery to move the runner over, and a great job of some small ball here by Coach Chester, and that's going to bring Lane Frazier to the plate. So Montgomery out on the 3 unassisted sacrifice, but it puts Cole Payne in scoring position and gives the Hurricanes a little more life offensively.
And now I think you're going to see the substitute runner not wanting to make a mistake, wanting to check to make sure they use the right person to run.
Because this is a pinch running situation, not a courtesy running, so you would have to bring in a guy who has not been in the lineup at all. Now, he can be a former courtesy runner.
Right.
That person can be entered in. And Tracy Prouty, I guess, is the name we have on the list, so I guess that's him. And he'll come in to run. So, yeah. So they're going to go with, I'll go with that too. So there is Tracy Prouty out there at second, getting an opportunity here for what could be a crucial situation here. That one in the dirt.
Well, one of those 9 seniors that's on this team obviously hasn't seen an awful lot of action, but an opportunity to carry a very important run in a state championship deciding game.
And the 1-0. Swung on, and that ball popped up in the infield, and Dial is going to call for it and make the out. And so that brings Adam Thurman to the plate. So Thurman will step in to hit in the 8th spot here. Thurman, 0 for 3 today, has reached twice on errors and scored once. Let's see what he can do right here. And that is a well-worn uniform today.
That's
right. By Adam Thurman. It's like an entirely different color on the right side.
Some very critical innings on the mound as well.
The pitch. That one just high. Thurman laid off that pitch, 1-0. Here we are, 2 outs, bottom half of the 6th inning. Canes trying to look for some insurance, and then they'll look for 3. Adam Thurman steps in. pitch, a swing and a miss that time. And Drew Brooks continues to stay up here on the hill, and he has pitched a pretty good game.
Yeah, he has. He's battled through it all, and
a lot of the later runs were not his fault. They were
exactly. Last inning was a good example of that.
That ball swung on, fouled the other way. So Adam Thurman steps back on the plate. Back to the plate as Drew Brooks heads back up on the hill. Runner aboard on second with 2 outs. The pitch swung on, and that ball fouled back to the stop, still 1-2. Adam Thurman just making Drew Brooks continue to throw pitches.
Well, we could certainly hope that Mr. Brooks doesn't have to do any work next inning.
So Adam Thurman now steps back in. The 1-2, that one high, make it 2-2. Thurman laid off a pitch that it's a scary area right there.
Yeah,
that was pretty close.
A high, slow breaking ball that stayed high in the zone, but if you're going to get one, you really don't mind having one there.
So the count even at 2, and the pitch. Swing and a miss right there, and he goes down on strikes, and that'll do it. The Hurricanes get it done off a hit batter. They move him over, but they leave him there. We go to the top of the 7th, and the Hurricanes will look for 3.
Fruit Jar Cafe's nostalgic atmosphere and country home meals will take you back to a simpler time. Relax while we serve you freshly cooked vegetables. Fried catfish, juicy chicken breast, or the best chicken fried steak you've ever tasted. We'll even throw in an all-you-can-eat bean bar, as well as fresh cornbread muffins with every platter. The Fruit Jar Cafe is located on Highway 20 off I-75 at exit 290. Come join us Tuesday through Saturday for lunch and dinner or for Sunday brunch. We hope we'll see you soon.
And there you see the loneliest place in Northwest Georgia right now as Ben Bridges will try to close the door and claim his second straight state championship, and he'll do it against one of the toughest lineups in the state. The good news for him is he faces 7, 8, and 9. And if he can get them in order, he won't see the top of the Columbus batting order. First pitch in there, called strike 0-1 to McClendon Hill. Ben Bridges, your reigning AAA State Player of the Year. Back up on the hill, the 0-1. That one high and inside, making 1-1.
Scott, we really knew that his presence on the mound was going to be the X factor today, was going to play a big part in the outcome of this game.
The 1-1 fouled down the third base line. 1-2. And that was close right there, but for Columbus, close only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and slow dancing. And that will do it. So 1-2 the call here for McClendon Hill. Hill steps in. And the 1-2 pitch. Swung on, that ball hit right up the middle. Coming on to make the play is Boston. Fires back. In time, he got him. It goes 4-3, and a huge out for the Hurricanes defensively, and they're 2 away.
Taylor Green actually, Scott, with a backhand up the middle, a ball that looked very Boston-like as Green able to backhand turn and throw, and a little bit of dispute over at first base as to whether or not he was out or not.
I apologize. He did look like I have that written on my score sheet and just simply messed it up. But Taylor Green at second with the play. That one inside to 1-0.
Well, I got a feeling his mama will be watching this at some point or another. So,
and Taylor Green, made a mistake earlier, and that might have made up for it right there with a big-time second-level play. The 1-0. That one in the dirt. Make it 2-0 here to J.T. Phillips. So Phillips will step back in. Again, Cartersville just 2 outs away from a repeat state championship, but those 2 outs seem like they're years away. The 2-0. That one down the pipe, called strike 2-1. So J.T. Phillips steps back in. And the 2-1 pitch. That one in there for a called strike, make it 2-2. So with the count even at 2 balls, 2 strikes, Bridges heads to the hill. And the 2-2. Swung on, and that ball fouled down the third base line.
I'd hate to play poker with Ben Bridges. He outwardly, like I said, he just no big deal. Ho hum.
And the 2-2 on the way. Swung on, and that ball hit the short. Coming on to make the play is Boston. He fires onto first. In time, it goes 6-3, and the Hurricanes, with two phenomenal defensive stands, will now pitch to the 9-hitter for a state championship.
And Scott, when you look at this game right here, the last inning, look at the difference where you had a Drew Brooks, had his infielders kind of let him down in the last inning. Right here, you've had two balls that very easily could have been runners on base with nobody out. As it sets nobody on and 2 outs and 1 out away from a state championship.
So Brad Bartow represents what could be the final out of the Blue Devils season. The pitch. That one. Just high, 1-0.
Number 18, Brad Bartow.
So Bartow steps back in. Bridges back up on the hill. The right-hander gets the sign, the pitch. In there, called strike, evens the count at 1. Bridges back up on the hill as Bartow digs in. The count even at 1. Here we are, top half of the 7th inning. The Hurricanes trying to close the door on their state championship. The 1-1. Swung on, and that ball hit the center. Up in the air. The out is made, and the Hurricanes are going to celebrate here at Richard Bell Field. And can you say dynasty? 2 in a row. They're 5th in the decade, and the Hurricanes are celebrating their 2nd consecutive state championship. What a play defensively. 3 of them in a row here in the 7th, and the Hurricanes have won their 2nd consecutive state championship in a well-deserved battle here at Richard Bell Field.
Scott couldn't have said it any better. The sheer jubilation of this team. 24 hours ago, they were down 1-0, had been totally dominated, and look what happens. Fought back and forth, collapsed in the middle of the field. I believe that's Chester, who can't even get off the ground.
And what a celebration there as he hugs his pitcher who came in. Ben Bridges, unable to go yesterday with a sore arm, comes back today to close the door on Columbus for the 3rd time in 2 seasons. And what a victory it was for Cartersville here at Richard Bell Field, and a well-celebrated victory here at the ballpark. And, I mean, you cannot ask for a series with more drama than that.
Absolutely not, Scott. Absolutely fantastic. Couldn't ask for anything more out of both of these ball clubs. But you got to tip your hat. That's why you play all 3 of them. Stewart said that to him after the first game. Says you guys can either scratch back or you can just kind of say, just let it fall by the wayside. This is a team that fought back, and they beat a really worthy opponent. They could play 4 more games and it'd still be decided by 1 game. Absolutely phenomenal effort. Congratulations, Canes.
Well, what a victory it was here at Richard Bell Field. The final 10-7 as the Hurricanes walk away with their 2nd consecutive state championship. We'll take a quick break, come back, and break it all down here from Richard Bell Field. You've been watching the Workhorse Productions High School Baseball Game of the Week.
Weather is so unpredictable. Focus on what's important, your family's safety. Everyone's okay. What do we do now? Call your hometown agent. They'll refer you to Wynn Pontiac Buick GMC Auto Body Repair Center. We've been taking care of families just like you since 1975, and we'll take care of all the details now.
Come see us. We'll handle everything.
And welcome back to Richard Bell Field as the Hurricanes are celebrating here at home in what has been a dramatic Game 3 final. The purple and gold have claimed their 2nd consecutive state championship and their 5th in the last decade, and the coaches are exchanging their pleasantries, and Bobby Howard and head coach Stuart Chester meeting there over on the 3rd base line. You have the living legend in Bobby Howard, who has won many, many state championships. I believe he's got 9. Coach Chester catching up to him there with his 5th, and what a victory. And, I mean, 2 class programs going head-to-head today, and both deserving of a state championship. And, in fact, both of these programs probably could have won a state championship in a different bracket. So we will now turn it over to the trophy presentation here as the Columbus Blue Devils now accept the runner-up trophy. And now the championship trophy presentation will be made to Cartersville High School.
At this time, for 2 years in a row, trophy for the Purple Hurricanes, presented by Mark McGinnis, the State Farm, the Cartersville Purple Hurricanes.
And there you see it. The Cartersville Purple Hurricanes claim the State Farm Trophy right there, as they are now the 2009 AAA State Baseball Champions, as they celebrate with the trophy. And what a victory it was here at Richard Bell Field, and what an honor it was to watch this team go through the postseason. And they did it with an unbelievable 10-1 record, and what a victory it was here today at Richard Bell Field. And there you have the final, and we will take a quick break, come back, and break it all down here from the ballpark. You're watching the Workhorse Productions High School Baseball Game of the Week.
Hi, folks. Chuck Clancy here for Chuck Clancy Chrysler Dodge Jeep. You know, folks, during these economic times, we were a little scared, but guess what? Chrysler chose us to be the premier dealer for North Georgia. That's right, Chrysler chose us. Folks, with rebates as high as $11,000 and at factory invoices 0%, it's the best time to buy an automobile. You need to come on down here at Chuck Clancy Chrysler Dodge Jeep in Cartersville. We're letting them go, folks, and all we need to prove it is you.
And welcome back to Richard Bell Field, and there you have the final 10-7 as the Hurricanes walk away with their second consecutive state championship. A huge victory at home today, 10-7 the final, and we take a look at some of the final numbers. Getting the victory on the hill was Ben Bridges. He was the pitcher of record when the Hurricanes retook the lead. He worked 3 complete innings, faced 14 batters, gave up 2 hits, 2 runs. None of them were earned. He had 1 walk and 1 strikeout. Taking a look at taking the loss, I guess, was Drew Brooks. He went 5 2/3, faced 30 batters, gave up 9 hits, 6 runs. 1 of them was earned. He had 1 walk and 2 strikeouts, and hit 2 batters in the process. Also pitching for the Canes, Pat Bowling worked the first 2 innings, faced 11 batters, gave up 2 hits, 2 runs. They were both earned. 3 walks and 4 strikeouts. Also gave up a home run. Adam Thurman worked 2 innings, faced 11 batters, gave up 3 hits, 3 runs. They were all earned. He had 1 walk and 1 strikeout. Also gave up a home run. And Ben Bridges worked 3 complete, as I said earlier, faced 14, gave up 2 hits, 2 runs. None of them were earned. 1 walk and 1 strikeout. Also pitching today, getting the start for Columbus, was Taylor Wolf. He worked a third of an inning, faced 5 batters, gave up 2 hits, 4 runs. They were all earned. He had 2 walks, no strikeouts, gave up a home run, and hit a batter in the process. At the plate for the Blue Devils, Bryce Dial was a big 3 for 4 today after his 4 for 5 performance yesterday. Bobby Andrews went 0 for 4. Matt Taylor was 3 for 4. Kyle Carter 1 for 3 with a walk. Travis Ben was 0 for 4. Taylor Wolf went 1 for 2 with a walk. McClendon Hill 0 for 2, reached base on an error. JT Phillips was 1 for 3 with a walk. And Brad Bartow went 0 for 3. Phil Weiss 0 for 1 in the Blue Devil loss. For the Canes, Donovan Tate was 2 for 3 with a double. Garrison Boston 2 for 3 with a double. Ben Bridges went 2 for 3 with a walk, a double, and 2 runs driven in. Hank Stewart 0 for 4 today. Cole Payne was 2 for 3 with a grand slam. Also had another big hit in the 5th inning. Colton Montgomery was 2 for 3 with a sacrifice. Lane Frazier was 1 for 3 with a sacrifice. Adam Thurman 0 for 4, reached twice on errors. And Ben Venders was 1 for 3, also reached on an error with the Hurricane victory. And with the win, the Hurricanes get to 30 wins on the season. So they finished the year 30-5, and for the Columbus Blue Devils, their season comes to an end with a record of 33-4. And that will do it for our broadcast here and our season of Cartersville Baseball. We thank you for tuning in. Again, I'm Scott Singer along with Matt Santini. Directing things back in the truck today was Jason Woodside. Matt Callahan has run the up-top camera the entire playoff season. I also want to thank Sam Callahan for working a game, and, of course, Dale Henderson for handling our first base camera today, and anyone else who helped with the broadcast. I'm Scott Singer along with Matt Santini saying good night from Richard Bell Field as the Hurricanes go back-to-back.